Shalom, shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Shai. The honors the apostle and elders, great millstone rule well. Salutations to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word in truth and sincerity. Now, about 20 minutes ago, I was watching the elders live stream on the various topics, which is a very good show. I encourage all brothers to, to watch this if you can, whenever possible. But at the end of the live show, just just saying this piece on niggas that that knew the truth and they fell out and they're talking shit now. Are those same niggas back in in Yahweh Shai's time at that exact very same moment? That when Pilate asked him, who do you want to crucify? And they said, crucify him. Let his blood be upon us and our children. And I truly believe that. I believe that these guys were the same, those same niggas back then that were shouting to crucify Yahweh Shai, man. You know, because back then, they knew that Yahushua was the Messiah, man. They didn't want to accept it, you know, whether it was true or not, because there was something that they disagreed with, just like now, you know, there's something that these guys disagree with that they just can't get over, man, and they can't get over the fact that that Yahushua wants it to be this way, whether it's certain breakdowns, whether it's them suffering wrongfully, whether it's them being chastised for something that they did wrong or anything of that nature, man. Whether it's them being underlings of the apostles, whatever have you, man. But life as we know it, life as being an Israelite, life is as suffering and curses, being up under an order, set order and rank under the apostles and the true men of the Lord. That's reality, man. And that's Yahweh Bashim Shai's reality, And these guys aren't in reality. These guys are psychotic. They drew up some alternate reality to themselves. Whether it is, they want to be the man, they want to be seen, or they want to be the elders themselves. They want to be the masters of the scriptures. However you want to call it. And these were the exact same guys that were murmuring against Moses in the wilderness. The same guys that were in league with Korah. With that rebellious spirit, man. And death is coming to those, of you guys who subscribe to the philosophy of being your own man, doing your own thing, you know, um, nitpicking at the doctrine, trying to trying to destroy what the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone have built, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai. So I just wanted to say my piece on a few scriptures, man. This is really an impromptu, is something I drew up on the top of my head. So this is Matthew 27:23. It says, and the governor said, why? What evil hath he done? But they cried out more, saying, let him be crucified. Because Pilate didn't want to crucify Yahushua. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, because he didn't want to riot, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it. Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children. And that's a prideful, satanic, like, that statement is a destructive demonic statement, man. Like, that's something that almost blows your mind when you actually think upon that statement. They said, Pilate said, my hands are free of the blood of this just person, so you do it. They said, let his blood be on us and our children, meaning they spiritually knew they had a curse coming on them for that, man, and they still went along with it. To say something as wicked as that, man, his blood be on us and our children, meaning they didn't care if they were cursed or their children was cursed, meaning they hated Yahweh Shah that much, man, to even bring a curse upon themselves and not even care about it. And that's what these guys are doing today, man. Like Nate, Johanna, Rakara, GOCC, the guys from HODC, the Avengers, the Yashar, what's his name? Yashar, Amath, and the Israelite tribe to refine, man. They're bringing a curse upon themselves on purpose. And it's like they don't even care whether they die or not, as long as they think they can take Great Millstone down with them, you know? Not knowing that they're rejecting Yahweh Bashim Yahushai when they're saying that, just like these fools rejected Yahushai when they told him his blood be on us and on our children. Then released he Barabbas unto them, and when he had scourged Yahushai, he delivered him to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahushua into the common hall, and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him, and put him on a scarlet robe. And when they had platted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him, and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. Now, so you had Israel that was sitting there watching this, and eating popcorn at this, man, and shouting and screaming and what do you call it, gyrating, and just like you would at a Super Bowl game, man, clapping and taking it for entertainment, you know, and that's how these guys they look at the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man, because the spirit of Yahushai is resting on Great Millstone, man, and when they see us get ridiculed and when they see us get seemingly hurt in the spirit or mocked, they laugh, they take it as entertainment, instead of being sorrowful and trying to stick up for the men of the Lord. They put us down, man, just like they put down Yahushua, you know, and they do it in their talk, man, in their speech, in the videos that they make, in the doctrine that they create, you know. Now you got these guys Israelites trying to refine believing in hell. I mean, they don't say per se that they believe in hell, but when you watch the videos, they say that you'll be tormented in the spirit world. What is that? That's hell, whether they want to admit to it or not, you know. And they're slowly picking out the doctrine, man. Now you got these guys in Detroit, the Good Samaritans with Inopri. This guy saying that the missiles, that Revelations 13 is talking about the missiles, is talking about a 200 million man army, you know, and Genesis 3 and what is that, 16, where it says there should be enmity between his seed and our seed, which is talking about Satan or Esau and Israel. And it says, "And thy hand shall bruise his heel," or his hand shall bruise his heel. He said that's talking about Israel, being shackled, having their feet shackled up and being in slavery. Which that's talking about us bringing down Esau's society, by the heel. There's various scriptures that go into us pulling down his strongholds, man. But they're nitpicking at every little thing, man, in the doctrine, showing their disrespect, showing their disdain and their hatred for the men of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and ultimately the Spirit itself. This is Titus chapter 1, verse 10. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers. Unruly meaning undisciplined, Matter of fact, let me look that word up.
Strong's G 506, anupataktas. Anupataktas.
Which means not made subject, unsubjected, that cannot be subject to control, disobedient, unruly, refractory. So they can't be controlled, man. Their mouths can't be controlled, their actions can't be controlled. The doctrine that they put out can't be controlled, They're their own men. Remember, they want to do their own thing. They don't have order, They don't have to respect their elders and the apostles and their spiritual fathers. That's being unruly. And vain talkers, meaning empty talk, man. Talking about, oh, the earth is flat, or you get tortured in the spirit world, man. What does that have to do with salvation? What you need to worry about is what's happening on earth. That'll be revealed to us what exactly happens in the spiritual world when you get there, when the kingdom comes. That's when that'll be revealed. Other than that, it's not time to worry about that, man. When Ezra was worrying about things above his measure, what did Gabriel tell him? Fret not above things, Slakia, roughly paraphrasing, Slakia, seek not the things that are too high for thee, because then you'll get into vain talking, things that you don't understand, and you try to break it down, man. It says, and deceivers, So with that vain talking, you're also deceiving, man, because you're believing the things that you say. You're believing the things that you think of, man, in your wild imagination, especially they of the circumcision, meaning they that knew they were Israelites, man, whose mouths must be stopped. And this is the main point. Whose mouths must be stopped, man. You have to be put out of commission in order for you to stop, man. Because if not, you won't be stopped. You're just going to keep going and going until, you know, just like Esau, you're just going to keep going and going. And you're never going to be satisfied. Who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, man. Meaning take over whole houses, man. With their bullshit. Hearkening disciples unto themselves, making people believe the shit that they're actually saying. Teaching things which they ought not. Things that they shouldn't even be worried about. Things that you should not be teaching the public, man. Because it's not meat for repentance. For filthy lucre's sake. That's why they're doing it, filthy lucre's sake, man. Like I said, they want to be seen. They want to be the man. They want to be the next top guys in Israel. They want to be the heads of Israel, They're teaching for money, hirelings. One of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said, the Cretians are always liars, evil beasts, and slow bellies. And they're likened to the Cretians, man, of the time of Titus. When Paul sent Titus to Crete to set up the order, man, of the church, he was finding out that a lot of the guys that were there, that were in positions of authority, were liars, evil beasts, slow bellies, man, were unruly, vain talkers, deceivers, doing it for filthy lucre's sake. It says, this witness is true, verse 13. Wherefore rebuke them sharply that they may be sound in the faith. Hey, you rebuke these guys and they're not being sound in the faith, man. They wax worse and worse, But with that waxing, man, the more and more they wax worse, the more destructive and the more painful the punishment is gonna be. This is Luke chapter 11, verse 49. Because they're not getting away from the blood that's on their hands now, man. From them teaching the false doctrine and going their own ways and trying to split camps apart and cause discourse and cause divisions, man. They're going to be destroyed, and they have a lot of blood on their hands, man. Including the blood of the prophets, because they are the ones back then that killed the prophets. They're the ones back then that crucified Yahushua and said, "Let His blood be upon us and our children." Because they had so much hate and disdain for the true men of the Lord, because they can't be that, because the apostles are everything that they want to be, and they can't be that, because they have some maliciousness and some evil intent in their spirits, man. This is Luke chapter 11, verse 49. Therefore also said the wisdom of the Most High, I will send them prophets and apostles, and some of them they shall slay and persecute. Just like the 12 apostles, man, they were all slain. Paul was slain, Stephen was slain. They're all slain for the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. By who? Israel. There were Israelites that were killing the prophets. That the blood of the prophets, which was shed from the foundation of the world, may be required of this generation. So this current generation right now, it shall be made blood for blood, man, tit for tat, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, man. You will be destroyed, because you were the same spirits that put the prophets to death back in the ancient world, That's why the scripture said, the blood of the prophets, which was shed from the foundation of the world, may be required of this generation. Because you are them same wicked ass, disobedient ass, piece of shit ass niggas, man. Verse 51, from the blood of Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, which perished between the altar and the temple, verily I say unto you, it shall be required of this generation. Verse 52, woe unto you, lawyers, for ye have taken away the key of knowledge. And that's exactly what they're doing, man. They're taking away the key of knowledge, and they're tucking it in their pocket, and they're giving them the key of destruction, man. That's what they're giving out. And they're locking that gate to hell, man. Ye enter not in yourselves, and them that were entering in ye hindered. So you're not getting into the kingdom of heaven, But also you're causing other people not to enter in the kingdom of heaven, That's why the blood is on your hands, and you will be destroyed for that blood, man. That's why I said it'll be required of this generation. It's happening all over again, you know. And the way you're doing that is you're not speaking according to the doctrine of Yahweh Shem Shai. You're not doing what is required of you in Yahweh Shem Shai, which is respecting your apostles, respecting your elders, teaching what you've been taught, you know, being in order. It's Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So if you go off and you keep going off, you're not trying to get back on the path, man. You keep straying further and further along, the opposite way. There's no light in you, man. Your light's been put out. The oil has left you. There's nothing left in you but darkness. And because there's nothing left in you but darkness, you're going to be driven in darkness, man. Verse 21, and they shall pass from it, hardly be stead and hungry. And it shall come to pass that when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves, So when those destructive days, man, come upon us, that martial law and the pestilence and the race riots and the turmoil, man, when all of that starts coming to pass and you're hungry and you're sick and you're thirsty and you can barely move, you're barely alive, they shall fret themselves. I mean, you're going to be worried then, because the Most High isn't going to be on your side, man. He's not going to be dealing with you because you forsook him. You forsook his ways. So he's going to forsake you and curse their king and their power and look upward, So yeah, you're going to curse the king, you're going to curse the Most High and look upward because that's your true belief, man. True belief is against the Lord. And they shall look up unto the earth and behold, trouble and darkness, dimness of anguish, and they shall be driven to darkness. So you're going to go into nothing but despair and darkness, man. What do they say? You're going to go into oblivion, man. Your mind is going to be messed up. And there's no way out of it, man. Because you were the same, because you wanted to be that same nigga that spoke against Moses in the wilderness, that crucified Yahweh Shai, that killed the prophets, all of that, man. And you wanted to continue to be that same nigga. This is 1 Corinthians 10:1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank and they drank of that spirit rock that followed them, and that rock was Yahweh Shai. But with many of them, the Most High was not well pleased. And guess who were the ones he wasn't pleased with? The niggas that was walking around, those old heads that was talking shit, secretly worshiping other gods. Wanted to do their own thing, plotting against Moses, man. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. Which is what? Pride. Wanting to be in the spotlight. Disorder. Searching out things that are too high for you. Speaking out of turn. Being lazy. Worshiping yourselves. Going after the things of the world, things like that, man. Neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play. And that goes back to the story, I believe, in Exodus, the 32nd chapter, if I believe, when Moses came down with the commandments, and he broke the tablets, and what happened was, the molten calf that they made Aaron create for them, he made Aaron melt it down and made them drink it, and then him and the ones that were like-minded him slew the rest, and that's gonna happen all over again, man. Hopefully, Lord willing, we'll get the power to put some of these 2/3 to death, man. It says, neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day 23,000. Whew, god damn, that's a lot. 23,000 men in one day. It's going to be completely more worse than that, you know? And they're going to be falling by the millions, man. Hell, the scriptures say 10,000 shall fall on this side, 10,000 shall fall on that side. Neither let us tempt Yahushua, as some of them also tempted, and were destroyed of serpents. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured, and were destroyed of the destroyer. Talking shit. As most of you are doing now today, man. You can't just have integrity and just leave it alone. You gotta talk shit. You gotta try and embarrass your teachers, man. You gotta try and embarrass the ones that have been doing the work of Yahweh Shem Shai for years. You gotta try and embarrass Yahweh Shem Shai themselves. Because leaving and disagreeing is not enough for you. Verse 11. Now all these things happen unto them for examples, right? Examples, right? And they are written for our admonition, meaning our warning, upon whom the ends of the world are come. Because the same thing is going to be happening over and over again, man. Everything, these same spirits are going to be reincarnated. So these are written for us to know what not to do. Doesn't say in Romans 15:4, all things are written for our learning, So we remember this and know what not to do and what to do in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Looks like them niggas failed the test. Wherefore, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. So you need to take heed to the messages in the scriptures, man, and pay attention to the examples. So you don't fall, man. Fall what? Fall prey to Satan. And it's my last scripture, and I'm gonna wrap it up. But like I said, take heed lest you fall and fall prey to Satan, meaning, and be destroyed, Make sure you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing in the spirit, and not doing what you want to be doing. Not being self-willed, This is Luke 12:41. Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even to all? And the Lord said, Who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season? And that portion of meat in due season is the kingdom of heaven, man. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Doing what? Doing the work, man. Doing the will of his master. Which in this case, our master is Yahushai, and his will is to do the work, and to teach sound doctrine. Of the truth I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he hath, which is ruler over this whole world, man. But and if that servant say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, Nate, Yahana, Rakar, GOCC, niggas from HODC, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens, and you can even throw the Israelites trying to be fine. You can throw the Avengers in there. You can throw the Good Samaritans in there. Throw all those niggas in there, man. Because at some point they stop believing, and shall begin to beat the men servants and the maidens, and to eat and to drink and to be drunken, drunken with their own philosophies, man. Eating and beating the maidens, meaning teaching false doctrine, basically committing harm to them and their spirits, man, by being drunk and eating and being drunken. The Lord of that servant will come in the day when he looketh not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in sunder. And he will be destroyed when he least expect it, and will appoint him his portion with the unbelievers, which is death. That weeping and gnashing of teeth, those 200 million nuclear missiles. Not no fucking army. And that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, meaning all those niggas, that I just named, the GOCC, ISUPK, these new niggas that's popping up spewing these false doctrines, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes, So you're going to be beaten with many stripes, man. That's a hell of a judgment. I can't even imagine the type of judgment that it's going to be, man. Because my imagination is only a fraction of what the Lord's imagination is and what he can do. But he that know not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. Niggas that's still going off, but not going off the deep end, talking shit, being just totally unruly and pieces of shit, man. These are gonna be the guys that knew the truth, disagreed with it, got offended at some point, or in it, they were in the camp, got offended at some point, or they just couldn't take it and they left. You never heard from them again, you know. But the judgment of you niggas that's talking shit and are misleading Israel, man, your judgment is going to be greater than those guys that just fell off and just left. And to whom men have committed much, of him will they ask the more, you know. And your judgment will be more, man. The more sin that you commit, the worse your judgment is going to be, you know. So with that, that was just a little impromptu, just was running through my head. Just a little springboard off of the live show. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, call Halal Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the honors to the apostle and Elder Great Millstone real well. Citation to the brother on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. Shalom.